I call to order this special February meeting of the Open Source Voting System Technical Advisory Committee of the San Francisco Elections Commission. Today is Friday, February 28th, 2020, and the time is now 2:27 p.m. I am the chair, Chris Turdonic. I will take the roll. Member Haig?
Here.
Member Cattell?
Here.
And Member Wasserman is not in attendance, and I'm here. So just as a reminder, attendance, as noted in the agenda, is optional for committee members, so Member Wasserman does not have an absence, or his attendance was not required. Okay, and we are meeting today at the library. We're in the Martin Paley conference room on the 3rd floor. So let's move on to item number 2, general public comment. Public comment on any issue within the committee's general jurisdiction that is not covered by another item on this agenda. Okay, seeing no members of the public, move on to item number 3, voting system component development. Okay, so for this, I thought what we could do is just give each of us a little bit of time to go around and say whatever you want to say, essentially. Like if you need help with anything, you want to give an update. But the only thing I'd ask is that don't get into the weeds on anything. We can do that afterwards. So maybe like try to keep it to 5 minutes or so, you know, if you need it. So who would like to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
So last night I pushed the 2020 election data to the sample data repository.
Great.
So it's ready to be tested. It's the 0 result. Although it turns out they also have 0 registered voters in their 0 report. So that caused me some problems at first.
But you have the registration data.
Yeah, I have it separate. So one of the things, I guess I have 2 things possible, and I'd like your feedback on priorities. One is to get the voter registration data, and we have mail ballot registration by precinct in their turnout file. So one of the things that I was going to do is compute the election day registration as this difference between total registration and mail ballot registration, and then display those numbers instead of right now. It only gives total registration for all fields. And the other thing would be to extract some, quickie.
Is that affected by the absence of the numbers, or is that unrelated?
No.
Okay.
No, I have the numbers. It's a matter of doing the math and adding things up. You know, I don't think we have district subtotals, so I have to do those separately. But then there's some overall statistics on like number of ballots received, number, unprocessed, number rejected, number pending. So I can add those to the summary. The other thing we talked about was putting a link to the state election website. So we should discuss like how should we do that. The other thing that I can work on is...
So there's 3 things then?
Yeah, there's 3 things.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot the other one. The other thing would be, an alternative would be for me to work on extracting the state election results and then inserting those so on all the statewide elections we see the San Francisco subtotal and then statewide total.
Okay, I think I would prioritize this as 1, 2, 3, because the third one seems the hardest and also the least necessary, but it's nice, of course.
Well, in terms of distinguishing ORR from other...
Well, I just mean the order in which you work on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we should do number 3.
Oh, okay.
Are any of those, what is the relative difficulty of each of the 3 things you mentioned?
Well, I think I can do the turnout data just for countywide, and that will be quicker.
Yeah,
do that. Bit quicker.
Do that.
And I'm not sure, well, I can figure it out by precinct, and then I'll skip putting off like party-based
Yeah.
detailed data till later. I prioritize
Also,
that
I think it would be kind of weird to display the state results without having a link to it, so I feel like you should do 2 before you do 3.
Oh, well, the link's gotta be quick.
Okay, well then there you go. That's cool.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at the result page.
No.
So we basically have to figure out what the URLs are, and then, you know, I
And at
have
worst,
configuration file data that I can map it
at
pretty
worst,
easily.
can do it manually, at worst.
Yeah,
Semi
well, you have to
manually.
put it in somehow, so.
Yeah. I mean, it could be some.
I mean, I think it's like a 15, 20-minute job to add
Yeah.
that, so we can discuss that, so. Anyway, and I have not had a chance to try the data running an OR, so maybe you could,
I'm
one of you
about
guys
to
could
do
do
that.
that. Okay, great. One new
Is
thing.
it configured to run for the election though, or are you doing that?
I'm gonna add
Okay.
that election configuration and try building it and see where it breaks.
Was
Because
there
it will probably break in some way.
Was there something about the directory hierarchy that you altered that might
Right,
be changing?
so,
Yeah, I noticed.
so now I have a state-county subdirectory
Yeah.
under the election date.
Okay. I did notice, I think that repo, is there a git command to see the size of the repo? Because
I don't
we
know.
want to make sure it might actually make sense at some point to split it, because if we're putting like, I don't know.
Yeah, so we could
Okay.
split it by area as well.
Okay.
It's just that, like, we'll be sharing data, in terms of processing stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just something to keep an eye out for. Okay, and then was there more?
There's one new thing about this election is that some of the contests are party only.
Mhm.
And I don't remember now, there's like for Democratic and Libertarian presidential candidate, there's something called crossovers, so
Yeah.
people registered as nonpartisan can elect to use one of those ballots.
Yeah.
But anyway, it might be nice to show in the result page that it's, a particular party,
Yeah, and also the turnout
party
data.
only.
And the turnout data gets split out by that as well. Or at
Yeah, I'm not sure how the registration works.
Well,
Like,
at least the
I'm,
number of votes cast, the number of ballots cast gets broken out by,
well, yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any real results yet, so we don't
Well, for
know
20
exactly what
for-
they're gonna put there.
well, for 2016, we know what they put there at the time.
It's probably going to be
Oh.
different though.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, but we also have a zero report for this election now, so we can.
so, yeah, one other thing I guess I mentioned to Chris over text was, normally with the we get this CVR export in a zip, and it has a JSON readable contest definition with everything in it, and
Yeah.
we don't have
Do
that.
you want me to ask for that now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask for that now. I don't know if the director's going to be able to get to it, just because I'm sure he's busy with things, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important though, because it's.
Well,
data.
so at some point we have to, when we get it, and we have to redo everything and come up with all new IDs.
Is that information something that will remain the same? Or is
Yes,
that-
it's independent of
Okay.
the report.
Okay, so I could
Well,
tell
unless
him,
they might add write-in candidates, that'd be the only difference.
so I could tell him that he has to do this anyways for election night?
Well, they should have those files somewhere.
Okay, I'll ask during the meeting then. Okay, and then, so we'll be able to get back to, the things, questions and stuff you had.
So you think I should work on links first?
Well,
Since it's quick
if
and
it's
easy?
quick, yeah, sure,
Okay, but we
That's
can,
fine.
we can
Sounds
discuss
fine.
after we're finished giving an overview.
yeah. Okay, Ron, you want to give?
Sure, so I worked on, let me actually pull this up on the main website. So I worked on making a navigation sidebar for the results page. So there used to be like this big table of contents here at the top. I moved it out into a sidebar.
It's really cool. Good job.
Where you can click on a certain contest and it will jump there.
And I assume you did it without frames?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
well, if you use an iframe, it's...
Yeah, no, I didn't use iframes. And there's a little bit of JavaScript that highlights the one that you're currently on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
And it's
Slick.
yeah. I want to find a way to make this work better for narrow screens like mobile phones. Right now it just like scales proportionally, but you still get this thing which is not an optimal use of your screen width if your screen is like this shape.
Yeah, maybe you could have like a pop out or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So for
that's probably what I'm doing, but I'm going to work on it later. So that's the main thing that I've done, and I've fixed there were some small issues in the tracker. There was showing the dotted line only through the S bar, which I fixed, and then that broke something else, which Chris noticed, which I just fixed today. And I also just pushed a change. Let me remind myself what that change was. Oh yes, and Carl had asked for the greens and reds to be the same shade of green and red everywhere, which is you had filed a request.
Yeah,
You had filed the task where
I
you
don't
had
think
asked
Carl
for
cared too much
me
about it.
to
I don't think he cared too much about it.
make all the greens and reds the same shade of green and red, so I've done that too.
Oh,
I
great.
just did that while we were waiting for call to line parking.
Great.
And I think that's all I have to report.
And then what are you planning on working on next?
Right now, what I've just started to do is trying to get the March 2020 data to build, because not very surprisingly, it errors out when you try to build with it.
Are you going to help with that, or was there?
Because it's doing weird stuff, and because it's to do with data loading stuff, I might want to voice that on you instead. Yeah. Because I'm looking at the first error and already getting out of my depth.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what about assuming you're working with the older data, what do you think you'd work on?
Once we have so Carl, about the 2020 data, you said that, did you have different fields for turnout broken out by party?
Not yet.
Okay. So there's no...
I was sort of in process of that, and I kind of commented out when I was starting. I added a bunch of definitions of new result stats.
Okay. What are those?
Well, I think for like ballots received, ballots unprocessed, ballots challenged, I think.
Okay.
So we'll have a little bit more detail on the vote by mail return status. You know, what's pending. Or that was my intention of what to add.
Right, that would be cool. And so I think, that I could work on adding that to the template so that it gets printed. And did you say that you had added parties for...
There's an office party. It's in the contest.
Okay.
And I forget what I called it exactly, but if you look at like the party committee contest, you'll see a new field in there.
Right. Okay, so I might try to get those to print, but I might also postpone that until we get the build to work at all, because that'll make it easier when there's actually data that contains those fields. Yeah. So while you're working getting the build to work, I might get started on like a more detailed like per precinct result thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, or I could do the mobile support for the sidebar, which is maybe better. We'll do that first.
I noticed a weird thing. I don't know if it was a browser bug or not in my phone when I was doing the scroll bar. Occasionally it would like kind of freeze at a certain thing when there was more remaining.
Oh,
I didn't notice.
Oh, you mean in this? So what will happen is if you go down all the way like this won't reach the bottom?
Well, something like that, and it was like stuck, and then I had to like zero my screen, and then I would like
that's weird.
Realize there's more.
Okay. Well, yeah, I should make it.
It could have been a browser bug.
I'm gonna redo how this works on narrow screens anyway. So then I think I'm gonna do what Carl said, where this is a thing that pops out on the side, and then maybe that way there aren't two separate
Yeah.
scrolling boxes.
Something else too, this is more aesthetic, but like I don't know if there's a way to address this. When you click to a screen that doesn't have a sidebar,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, you know, like shifts, of course.
Oh, because you go to the home, for example, you mean?
Well, no, like if you click on detailed reports or something.
Oh, yeah, because now you're there. Yeah,
It'd be nice to have a unified view, kind of.
yes. Yeah,
So maybe it could be like a collapsible site. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm not sure, but just
maybe.
something to think about.
Yeah.
Of course, on those screens you don't need a sidebar. So
Yeah, there's no. Also, the language selector you wanted to.
yeah. So I'll mention that in my update.
Yes, but yeah, if there's things that you want me to do for the language selector, then I can.
And have you also reviewed the issues to see if there's anything else that's something?
I did that recently, and then I fixed all of them except for the ones with the HTML entities, which Carl fixed the entities in one of the election results, but not the other ones.
Okay.
But that's probably just, I guess we've decided that's just like a data uncleanliness thing. And so
Okay.
that's where that needs to be fixed.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
That's it?
Okay. So I worked on a couple things. I got the language stuff working for the template, and I mean the scheme is working now, and I just translated a couple phrases. It's in a separate repo here. I'll just show you. I got the CI working for it. So, and basically the way it works is there's YAML files that you can edit by hand, and this one is the index, and it has like a little description of what each phrase is, and then the identifier, and then there's a build step.
Oh.
That is the JSON file, which is translations.json. And the way I have it set up is this repo is a submodule of the reporter repo, and the template directory has a symlink to this file, and it just, so like the reporter looks for the translation.json file. And then the way that you call it, let me find it in the, so the way you call it in the template is there's a filter called TT, which stands for template translation, and then it just uses the ID.
So that's the string, that's the ID, and then the other thing is language code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I'm going to work on today. I'm almost done.
So if it's a format with parameters.
Well, I'm going to do that next. Yeah. So I'm going to do it would be like TTEN and
comma.
Yeah.
Variable.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the like 100 of 500 precincts reporting.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So so one thing I need help from you is well, actually, so the functionality is there, but we still need the translations. So I think it would be helpful if we could find someone who's fluent in Chinese, Filipino, separately, of course, Spanish, that we could just like ask to do a bunch of these. So,
Aha! I found what's broken.
in what?
The something in Carl's export for the data is broken. To do with writing candidates.
Well, the normal write-in was because of the missing JSON manifest files. So I did a hack by hand. So
Yeah.
you can tell me what's wrong, and I'll try to
Yeah.
fix it.
Sorry. I'll let Chris do his update, and then I'll.
So then, So a couple of things I want Rowan help with is on the language selector at the top, you know, maybe you can mark a task for that, is to have it highlighted what language is selected. And then the other thing I wanted was, I was thinking the home button could be like something nicer than just a string that says home.
Right, where does it go currently?
It goes to the,
Right.
the
It goes to the home for that election.
yeah.
Right. So also we may be able to omit it on the page that it links, where it links to itself.
Well, it's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some other tweaks there too. Like there's brackets around Filipino, and there's another
actually,
after Chinese.
Oh, actually, well, that's something I wanted to mention. So the way I have it structured right now is, if a translation is missing, I just put brackets around it.
Oh,
and
okay.
that tells us.
Okay, that
it's
means it's untranslated. Great.
Yeah. So, and then the language toggle is the one place where I'm putting the translation in parentheses so that you can, you don't know what language they know on that stage. So I think the language issue can be marked as done, but because what's remaining is really just the translations. So so maybe during the meeting we can talk about recruiting people for translations, but the last thing I want to say is the next like feature I want to work on is I want to have a way for us to like include external files. So for example, we probably want to include like the Dominion official statement of vote PDF on a reporter. So we don't have a way to do that currently.
To do what?
So like a way to include in our report an external file with like a label on it, like the official Dominion SOV PDF. So we'd want to have some way within the input data to like say here's a list of external files that you can then display from within your template. You know what I mean?
So I guess the question is, so those files exist in, or they may exist in the sample data Git repo.
Yeah, but we don't really have a mechanism to like.
So what mechanism would we use? A symbolic link, or?
I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe pass in an input directory of external files. I don't really know. I mean, I'll talk about it with you.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that was my question. Is
yeah, I haven't thought about it yet.
Okay.
But I do think we want to like pass in like a name of the file that you can be displayed, and then that's internationalized. So. Okay. So that's all. That's all.
Okay. So, Rowan, could you tell me what?
So the problem is that, let me pull up the two different files.
Can you tell me one of the contests?
So it's
it's Star Child.
Yes, it's Star Child, who's running for Assembly District 17, and Star Child is in the results.json file, but not in the election.json file.
What?
And so that means that like there's an ID reference that goes.
I know why. Because it's so I had a file that I thought was an input file that said what the write-ins are, but it's actually an output file that's extracted from the missing manifest.
Okay.
So.
So this write-in candidate is actually everywhere that David Chu is as well, except in the election definition file. Like he's in the results file. He's in the candidate. Like he's in all the files that David Chu's ID.
Okay, so I have to come up with a workaround for the missing file.
Yeah.
I just figured that out last night, like about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Basically, I searched for like all the candidates have like these IDs, right? Like X01.
Right.
So I searched for Star Childs and then they would choose. And
It's
David
not
Chu
there,
appears.
yeah, and I know why.
All right, so that's why the import is broken right now.
Oh, by the way, Rowan, on the task that you made for the language stuff, you had mentioned that using a Python library. And I think for now,
Oh yeah, yeah.
let's not use one.
If you have a, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
if you have a solution. For
We might need one later.
yeah,
If we need to
especially
do
for
plurals or
like
something.
once you have parameters that are numbers, things can get interesting. But yeah, we might not need it.
Because I saw it had things like, it like would do the plural within the
Exactly,
language and
yeah.
stuff. I don't know if we need to.
That's
Oh, also, sorry, one thing I want to mention, this may be more for Carl, but like I'm gonna kind of like work my way from top to bottom on the rendered version to see where we need things translated. And some of them might not be just adding something to the submodule, because I noticed like the headers for the RCB and result stats I think are currently just English strings. So I think we might need to kind of update some of the way that's stored.
Right, they're just stored as a
Yeah.
header string or
So I'll
something.
communicate with you about to kind of like fully internationalize all that stuff.
Well, I mean, you could use that string as the label.
Yeah, potentially, but I haven't really started taking a look at it, so I don't know. Yeah.
Or I guess that's what I'd recommend is the easiest fix.
Well, I consider that a hack though, but well, I just want to take a look at it first. But would you mind if we just discuss finding people to help with the translations for a little bit?
Sure.
So, for starters, so we need one person that knows Chinese, one person that knows Filipino, one person that knows Spanish, like well enough that they would know these obscure language terms. So, is there anyone that you, like a close friend that you think would be willing to do it, that you know already? Or maybe like a group of people that you think you might be able to find one person?
I have a friend who can ask for Spanish, and he's likely to either be able to do it or be able to know somebody who will do it.
Okay. And I think really the way this would work is we'd find that person and we'd like send them emails like, hey, can you translate these 10 things? And they would just email it back.
So I also have a friend who is Spanish.
Is what Spanish?
From Spain.
Mm-hmm.
It may be different than Mexican Spanish.
Yeah.
But,
Dialect. Mm-hmm.
I asked a friend who's Filipino, but then she doesn't really know it very well because she grew up here. So.
Oh, I know a guy down in LA who might be willing to help with Filipino.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then what about Chinese?
I guess I know several people that are Chinese. Well, I guess we want Mandarin.
I need to double check. Can you check, is it Mandarin or, what is Cantonese Mandarin? Or?
It's Zihant, whatever that is, but I don't even know.
I have a friend who will at least be able to identify what our current thing is, but
And I'm not sure if there's a difference in the written language.
Right.
So how do you want to work this? Like, should we all simultaneously look for people that we know, or would that be duplicating efforts, or?
I guess for Spanish and Filipino, I can ask the people that I have in mind and then report back.
Okay. And
I'm trying to
then,
think who I know, because I don't have a really close friend that's Chinese.
well, maybe,
I
don't
know
know,
one
maybe
guy
like
who's a
in the
good friend, but he
election
might be
community.
kind of busy.
maybe
so.
like in your election community,
What's that?
maybe in your election community, you might know anyone.
Oh, I can ask the LWV people.
Yeah, why don't you ask them? Yeah, why don't you just ask them and then and then I'll also, I think maybe like the Code for America meets every Wednesday, and there's usually like 50 people that show up to those, so I can maybe stop by. And then should we find out right now whether it's Mandarin or not?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just ask someone in the library. Actually, Hey Carl, regarding the manifest, that's something they, how many times previously have they provided that?
Well, once they got their first report, they included the CVR data.
Was that in June and November, or just last year?
Well, it's new with Dominion, so it's only
They've done it
November.
twice now?
What?
Did they do it? Oh, just November, okay, right.
Well, because that's when they started with the new system.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, ideally, they would have posted those manifests beforehand, but, so I guess for November, it would be nice if they posted in advance.
Mhm. What's wrong?
Oh, just this tangle of IDs. Oh. Plus, every time I edit a TSV file, I have to switch my editor because you can't. Maybe I'll just...
Because what?
Well, it doesn't to use Python, you can't use tabs.
Oh, some text editors let you configure...
Yeah, mine doesn't.
Okay.
I guess I should switch text editors.
Hey, was the manifest file inside the CVR zip file? Was that how it worked?
Right.
Okay.
So basically it has the, set of manifest files that define the election, and then there's a CVR JSON that's the JSON format of the CVRs itself.
So I just want to make sure that he knows. Okay, so
And
he didn't
they
provide,
have the word manifest is in the
he
file
didn't
names.
provide the CVR at all.
What?
He didn't provide the CVR at all.
Well, there's no CVRs.
Oh, I mean, it could be like an empty CVR file. Right?
Well, yeah, you could have put an empty CVR file.
I mean, there might be metadata at the top. I don't know.
No, well, the metadata is stored in separate files
Okay.
inside the zip, and
Okay.
that's what we're looking for.
Okay. So the manifest is inside here. It was inside here for the previous election.
That's the raw data.
But I mean, it's a zip file. It was inside.
Oh yeah, it's inside that zip file.
Okay.
Oh crap, I forgot to turn my tabs off.
Are they JSON files? No.
Yes. I can tell you the names if you want.
That's okay. I don't know.
Well, if you have a zip file with CPRs
Yeah,
in it,
I
then
don't
you can
need to-
just
I don't need to know. I just wanted to make sure he knows what we're referring to. That's all.
yeah. So they all end in manifest.json.
Okay.
Okay, star manifest. It's a capital initial cap manifest.
Oh, with no delimiter before manifest.
Well,
Star
that's the
manif-
normal
okay.
way of doing things. Python does it backwards. It's like the old punch card days.
Oh, this is the, what's it, camel case?
Camel case.
Okay, just send him an email asking, so. Also, for the language selector, do you think that should go above the title or below? What's your opinion on that?
Right. Maybe.
You can think of something else for you to think of.
Yeah, or I might. Yeah.
You can just do it however you want.
Yeah. We'll see.
And the home could even be like an icon too.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if we don't show it on the actual home thing, then it could be more like a back to a summary.
Oh, I see.
Thing, an
That
icon.
makes sense. Yeah. I think it's kind of like most web pages have like this kind of a convention of the home page is the upper left
Right. Yeah.
button. And Carl, one thing that's kind of cool is that in the translation files, you know, when it's a format string, the input file, they have like, you can give a name for each parameter so people know what it's supposed to be filled in there.
You mean, with the Python format string?
Well, in the JSON file that we expose, so that way like someone, a consumer of the file can see by reading what each parameter, we can give a name to each parameter, just independent of Python's.
So what's the string going to look like then?
Well, I'll show you. It's like this. So I just mean like you can say params where the first one is.
Oh, I see.
So you can give like
as
a name.
Opposed to putting it there, but
yeah,
it's a little more. It's
well, this way you can have like an error message if someone say you're missing the total precinct count parameter. So you can't introspect.
Okay.
What's that? You have a question? Wait.
Also, the pipe at the end is gone.
Oh, cool.
So I think now I'll push this first, but then next I think I will remove the home thing and maybe make that a line above that says like back to summary, and then only show it if you're not on a summary page.
Okay. And also, you don't have to use the pipe delimiters. You can.
No, that's true, but
You can use it wherever you want. Bless you.
Oops.
So, are these rhetorical comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Hmm?
So, can I interrupt you guys?
Mhm.
So, we want to add at least add a URL to the first state election results in a contest.
Yeah.
Um,
Do they allow deep linking?
yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess the simplest thing would be just to add an attribute called state election results or something like that. I mean, I proposed a more comprehensive thing of using links that are a list of things, but if we just want to do a temporary hack, I guess I might suggest calling it like URL underscore something. Just if we add more, then they'll all be sorted together, or we can use link underscore.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know, I guess
That's fine. Either one.
maybe URL shorter,
Yeah,
and
URL. Mhm.
link sometimes means other things,
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
including left and German.
Yeah.
Okay, so should I call it like URL underscore state results?
Well, do you think maybe something a little more generic, like URL underscore? It's like the overall results, like. Or is it always going to be state?
Well, I mean, if we have, I mean, we could create other pages, I guess, that, have some sort of details. But the question is, what would we call it then, if it's not state results? I guess that's why I was thinking of using, well,
I think state's fine. I mean, I was just thinking maybe
because
like
I mean,
overall
well,
result.
that's why I was suggesting using different names and being able to put that in there, so we could say like, statewide results, or we could say like cross-county results or something. But
Well, there's
like
the top
all
level.
areas.
It's the top level. This is the top level one that has everything.
Well, we're looking at a contest.
Yeah. So I think state's fine. Yeah. URL state results, or should be URL results state. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Maybe it
I'm
should
kidding.
be.
I'm kidding. I think that's fine. Looks great.
Well, until we figure something else out, and then it's
Yeah.
easy enough to change. So should we add a link, a top-level link as well?
To the whole page?
I mean, like,
Yeah.
like to the home page of the state
Yeah.
results.
I think so.
And should we call it the same thing, put it in the election?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So contest
Yeah.
plus election.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they have a turnout page or not.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, It's indeed.
Did you
Well,
look-
we'll have the top levels.
Did you look at the pattern they use?
I just started.
Is it like a shortened English? Is it like a hyphenated English?
They're kind of spelled
Or
out.
is it like IDs? Oh, okay.
No, it's like they're kind of spelled out.
Okay.
It's not like question mark X3298. There was a previous state info system. I know the URLs were like 1024 characters.
So,
And they were like non-permanent linkable URLs. It's like session specific. Oh, Ron,
Mm-hmm.
I uploaded the fix.
Oh, great.
Can you try
okay.
it?
I will try it in a minute.
Ah.
Oh no.
Mm.
Actually, oops. This actually breaks things.
what are you working on?
Well, I did something stupid.
Okay, you don't have to tell me.
Something. Well, let me try to remember what it is. Oh, it was current page link that I changed. Okay, so this is the way that it is for a reason. Yeah. So this seemed weird because current page link returns a string where it gets
Mm-hmm.
a thing from the path and it returns a string, whereas almost everything else returns a path. Like a lot of these things just return the path object. So I was like, well, we don't really need that. We can just return the path instead. And it turns out that actually breaks a lot of things.
I don't know.
Because the diff that I get from doing
Did I
this...
have a reason for doing what I did, or is it just random?
Probably, because when I do this, the diff that I get is that it adds results detail slash something, which is wrong because we're already in results detail
Yeah, it's a
directory.
relative thing.
So it's a relative
Yeah,
thing.
that's right.
But then why does it work for other things? Okay. Oh, because it doesn't use get relative href, which everything else uses. That's why.
Is the API incomplete, or should it be?
No, it's just inconsistent.
Inconsistent?
The reason I originally made this change is because current page link returns a string, whereas everything else returns a path object. And so, because I was comparing them, the comparisons were always failing because strings and path objects are not comparable.
Would it be solved with a better name for each function, do you think?
No, I'm just trying to figure out if I can get current page link to use get relative href, which a lot of other things use, because then it will definitely be more consistent because it will use in the same code.
As long as you don't do like some kind of Boolean flag. It should be fine.
Oh yeah, no. technically works best quickly.
I'm going to use the test result site links for now, and then we'll change it to the real one later.
Okay, sounds good. Hmm. Hmm.
in election.json, the top level ballot title, so the one that says consolidated presidential primary election.
Yeah.
That should be an object listing different translations, like different language versions of it. In the other files it is. Like the 2019 election has like the English one and then the other ones. So even if it's just
They
like,
must have changed the format of OmniBallot.
right. There's another couple weird things too, like
Oh, like there's instructions that have, oh, I
I don't
see
know what
that
those
there's
instructions are
no,
doing.
the ballot title, there is none, I guess. There's no heading.
Yeah, and then like below that, there's like this ballot does not. There's a bunch of instructions that where stuff got cut off, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of havoc that wreaks later. But let's see.
Okay. I'll have to try to figure out why
Yeah.
what changed with the ballot title.
Let's see. Let me see what happens if I just manually fix it and run it again.
Yeah, if you can patch
Yeah,
it
do
for
that
now.
That it seems to be working now.
Okay.
I mean, I just hacked the election.json file and just add a blank.
Is it okay to have a null heading? Like there's instructions with no heading text.
We'll see how that behaves in
And actually the problem was the official layout has a bold in the first paragraph.
Oh yeah, I see there's HTML in there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what it does. It did manage to build the whole thing. So let's see what it looks like.
On my precincts reporting thing, for the Chinese, I actually don't know like which is which, so.
Oh yes, you don't
so
actually know
it might
order.
be nonsensical.
Oh right, because all the ones that you can find records of are 600 or 600 or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
That's
if
it.
the numbers were different, you could tell, but they
Yeah.
never are for, well, they only are for like a few hours,
Right,
once every couple of years.
that's right.
You don't have any of those special elections, good.
Okay, here we go. Here's the March 2020 election. So we'll have to
Cool,
add
man.
the party to this, I guess.
There's a tie for last place, or first place.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to add the party for...
Shouldn't they all have a green check?
Oh, and it gets super confused because, because there's two federal sections. It assumes that all these titles are unique. So this code goes completely haywire because there's two federal sections. There's like a bunch of, well, these we'll fix because these are different. These will have different.
So
parties.
actually so these titles are taken from the ballot order, so it's not really city and county, it's really, it should be party committee or county council, or it's a party committee.
Yeah, because there's going to be another city and county header, Oh, no, there isn't, because on this ballot, there are no
Yeah.
county offices, but it's, yeah.
I mean,
And
I
these
don't
are
know,
democratic
I could
only.
put in a map, I guess.
Well, there's also, these are also party contests, right? Because there's this is actually the Republican one, and somehow the Republican, the RCCC for District 19 is missing somehow. That's interesting.
Well, if there's not enough candidates, then they don't.
They don't
hold
run
it.
the election.
Yeah.
That actually, I think that happened.
So it's actually, most of the districts don't have
Yeah.
party committee because there's not enough people.
Yeah, you're
there
right.
running.
That happened in District 19 for
What,
the Republicans.
you
You're right.
didn't run for Republican Party committee?
From the other assembly district. Well, I guess I'm also not eligible anyway because I'm not registered to vote. I'm not a citizen, but.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, exactly right. I could have moved to the west side and registered to vote as a Republican and then just run for Republican Party committee and won by not having an election. Okay, it doesn't seem to know that Star Child is a write-in somehow.
Is it not coming out as write-in?
It does say is write-in true, so maybe I'm doing that wrong in the templates. There we go. I'm an idiot. I only did the write-in notes for RCV contests because in our previous data we only ever had write-ins for mayor, and that's an RCV contest. So that's my fault. So I need to.
Oh, I did run into an interesting internationalization issue that I might want your advice on.
What is that?
Is
Same.
it's basically our footer, which is like an HTML string,
Yeah.
which has like it's like of the.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't really thought too deeply about it, but I want to get the format strings working first.
Yeah.
It could just be a format string.
Yes. Yeah. One way to do it is to have like demonstration and like all the captions of links be separate messages, and then like use a format string. Because you don't want the link targets to be localizable, but you do want the link captions to be localizable. So you could make a separate.
Oh, these things would be the format values.
Right. So like you could have the word demonstration as a separate translatable string, and the word open source voting results reporter as a separate string, like all those. And then you could just programmatically build that all, and the outer thing would be something that has a bunch of placeholders for where these build links go into. Which is
Wait, I was thinking of it the opposite, where the
Oh, yeah, no, of course, sorry, you're absolutely right, that is much better, if just the href attributes are.
because that's the only thing that's dynamic. So
Yeah, you're right, you could just inject those URLs, yeah.
because we don't necessarily know that the parts of the sentences are going to be the same order.
Yeah, I know, well, no, sure you don't, but that's a general problem with format strings.
Yeah, I mean, or
Yeah,
some
the
like
Chinese
you
numbers.
mean some like nested.
Yeah,
strings.
exactly, no, but you're right, we should just have the URLs be, the href attribute values should be injected parameters, that would be much easier.
Collision.
Oh, sorry.
What? Get,
That's okay.
Yeah, we have a conflict apparently. Something I did. What's going on? Oh. That's what's happening.
hmm.
Yes, okay.
What's the easiest way to resolve the Shasung's conflicts? Just randomly.
Oh,
What do you do?
there's a, if you do, there is a,
Like just choose, you just say like choose other or something?
yeah, there has to be a way to do that.
Or I think you could just skip it or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to figure out what the command is for this.
I just have to look it up.
But you could do,
Maybe just like,
well, I know what you do if you don't want to modify the Shasung's file, but that's not correct. You do want to modify the Shasung's file.
I mean, I could just manually for now. And then it's not, it probably won't be correct, but that's okay. I have to rerun it anyways.
Well, yeah, you could do that. So if you, actually, you can do that command.
Oh.
So now you get the old version, actually. If
Well,
you do that.
What, is there a command choose
So,
one?
yeah, so if you do git checkouts and then that path,
With nothing else?
that's it. Now if you run git status, it should hopefully tell you that, oh, you might need to do reset first and then checkouts, I guess.
Oh,
Git reset that path and then git checkout that path.
do I have to do like, I might have to do like hard or something?
No, I don't think you do.
It's still,
Yeah, so now checkout. Now do git checkout that path. And now it's not modified at all, so now you can regenerate it.
oh, at this
Because,
point.
yeah, you're right, you can't, there's no meaningful way to resolve the conflicts because both of the versions are wrong.
Yeah. This is the correct way to do it, right? I mean, this, what you're suggesting is the correct way to do it.
Oh yeah, just run the thing again, yeah, exactly. Contest party. Okay, so every partisan contest has a contest party ID. And then party names thing. Okay, so that's gonna be.
So I'm gonna do the demo again right now.
You're gonna rebuild the demo
Yeah.
with just OR?
Well,
Just don't.
I'm gonna update it to the latest OR.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
just don't update the sample repo yet.
Right.
So one thing that I did not do is distinguish between contests that allow crossovers.
Yeah,
So,
Oh, that's interesting, because that's the one tricky thing, huh?
well, I mean,
How would you distinguish it? Do you have to add a new flag or something?
well, I think I didn't do it because I didn't know the answer. So, I mean, we could, let me see if I defined crossover.
I mean, you might want to.
No,
You could have like the list of which parties are eligible to cross. It could be very.
well, but it's
tricky.
also not every contest within each party. Because
Right.
for president, you can cross over, but for county committee, you can't.
What's a per contest?
So,
7.
right, yeah, where there's crossoverable is a per contest thing.
so one way to do it would be to add an extra attribute, you know, like we have contest party.
Wait, are the totals reported separately too? Like the
Well-
crossovers?
I don't know,
We don't know that information yet.
I'm not sure.
You could say like, such and such candidate won among these voters but lost among these voters, kind of thing. Yeah, we don't know yet, I guess.
There's a different ballot, so you could, you know,
It's a different ballot type.
yeah. So I don't
We'll
know.
wait and see.
Yeah. But anyway, so, well, actually one way to do it would be to give a list of crossover parties, party codes. So like, they might allow only nonpartisan. I mean, that's just a more general way to do it, but,
Yeah.
or we could just make it a Boolean flag. Or we could make it a sentence.
Yeah, right. I mean, a Boolean seems the simplest for now. I mean, I think a Boolean is better for now.
Okay.
Because at least we would have the information of what's a crossover.
Uh,
Oh, did you see what I named the translation repo? The 3-letter acronym? OTM.
OTM?
Open Source Voting Translation Manager.
OVTM.
OTM.
OTM.
So we have ORR, ODC, OTM.
Right.
okay.
It's the same as results.
I think it's just libertarian, right?
What, it's just libertarian?
The
doesn't allow
crossovers, that allow crossovers.
No, Democrats don't like crossovers.
Well, Democrat and Libertarian.
Oh, okay, yeah, it might just be them, yeah.
I mean, other than Democrat.
The Secretary of State's website has,
Yeah. So there's a different ballot type for Democratic nonpartisan and Libertarian nonpartisan.
American Independent, Democrat, and Libertarian. Those are the 3 parties that allow crossovers.
There's no, oh, I see. Oh, that's correct, huh?
Yeah, I just got that from the Secretary of State website.
Okay,
They put it
because,
across the face.
so there's no different ballot type for American Independent because there's no party contests.
Really? They did not have a president?
No, there's no county committee contests.
But they have a president contest.
Right.
Oh, so there are no non-crossover contests for AI.
Right.
Oh, I see. So there's not different ballot
Because
types
there's a
for,
party committee for,
right.
for
And
Democrats and a
right,
party
that makes
committee
the
for
ballot
Republicans,
different,
so, well, actually, Republican doesn't matter, but.
Right, the Republicans only have one ballot, but the Democrats
And
have two
I
ballots.
guess there must be one for,
Libertarian?
there's no Libertarian?
I guess they don't have a county committee? No, they only have president as well.
What's the difference between Libertarian and Libertarian nonpartisan? Slightly different. I found the bug with the translation of the ballot title. I had to chop off the date and then I did it wrong. So, are you sure of that American Independent?
Yeah, it is, it crosses over, but I guess if they don't have,
Or is it same day registration?
I'm going to take public comment on this item. Seeing the members of the public.
Good you remembered.
Could have like caches their static pages for like a minute.
Do they cache the page for a minute or do they just like wait a minute and then you put it on a queue?
Well, whenever, it always takes like a minute for it to go live, because even if you refresh the browser, I think on this with CDN, you only update their CDN. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be laggy, right? It's Microsoft now, so they probably have a lot of money to do it really well. There we go. Is that a Unicode arrow or just an ASCII arrow?
It's a Unicode area.
Cool.
I thought it looked a little bit too thick, but the thin version looks too thin.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, I just, the demo is showing, I have the format string working now for the precincts.
You have a what?
This,
Oh, okay.
actually, why
So
is-
you copied that from the San Francisco ballot result page?
I did, yeah. I even got the Chinese, but I don't know for sure which one's which.
Or you put it into Google, and it might tell you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, actually, why don't I try that right now? Ah, I was wrong. It's reversed.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Try Google Translate.
Well, of course,
Oh,
Google
interesting.
Translate might be wrong too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I have a friend who speaks Chinese at like 8-year-old level
Okay.
that would at least understand that,
Okay.
but might not be able to actually write translations.
there like not operator, like test to see if it's in Python?
If it's not equal to something?
If it's converted to Boolean, or should they just
Oh.
cast a bool like as a function?
I think exclamation mark works as a not operator, and the word not I think also works as a not operator.
Oh, exclamation point works in
Yeah.
Python?
I believe so.
Oh, I don't.
I'm not sure if it
I
does.
don't think so.
The word not might work, but you can also
But
try.
maybe I
and
can
click
just
that
cast it.
Oh, were you going to use not to cast it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I almost did that too. But yeah, you can write bool parentheses to cast it. I had to do that earlier.
Cool.
Okay.
Should I call it contest party crossover or NP crossover? I guess it doesn't matter.
Ron, do you know about macros? Ginger?
Yeah, I used one for,
Okay.
I used one for generating the nested structure of the sidebar because I need to recruit it.
Yeah, I found that the precinct phrase occurs in 3 places in Allen, so I only replaced it.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't know the scope, like if you can define a macro in a separate file, if it is available. No.
Oh, it's just,
I guess we should wrap up since it's 4:30. Are there any things that people want to discuss with each other before we?
Maybe I should check in. I added some stuff.
Well, you can check in at home too, but like, are there any? Let's talk about plans for election day and.
Yeah.
Are there any, like, what's the delta between having something that we can run on election night? Is there like, will there be work to do to see what they give us?
Well, I'm going to assume it's pretty close. I may not have to remap all the IDs once I get the contest manifest. If I can get it Monday, that would help.
Let's assume that the format is the same. Then does that mean that we'd be able to run it on election night, or is there still more work to be done?
No. Well, I mean, we can run what we have now.
Yeah,
I was thinking of adding some.
We won't have some things, but.
Yeah.
so I'm working on getting the parties into the data model. I've just written that, I'm about to test it.
Oh, and
that'll be pretty.
I just added the, what did I call it? Contest party crossover attribute, but I haven't checked it in yet.
Because like, it would be better to just prioritize having something.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the party, like knowing which presidential contest, which party is pretty important, because right now they all have the same name.
Is there a blocker is there anything that's preventing us from being able to run it on election night?
I don't think so. Well, there's the ballot title bug.
Oh, I fixed that.
Okay, that's great. So it builds. It generates a bunch of headings with the same name, so it doesn't tell you which party each presidential contest is. There's some buggy behavior because there's 2 federal headings, and that is something that my code doesn't deal with well right now. So it'll be a bit glitchy, but it'll mostly work. And I can try to I can try to fix the.
I mean, the other
Trying
thing
to
we can
talk.
try to do is map the heading.
Yeah, I could try to deal with the duplicate headings, or
Is there anything you need suggestions on, or is it pretty straightforward? How
it'll
do you-
it'll be straightforward. So the party, if the party stuff doesn't work, I might need your help with it.
Are you using a short heading, by the way? Or what?
For the headings, you mean?
Yeah, like what?
I'm using
Which attribute are you using?
the ballot title of the office category, and there are two office categories that are both called federal.
Oh, okay.
And that's,
You're using the ballot title.
yeah.
Because we put in like a short name for some things.
Yeah, but it's not there for those.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a short description for some things, but there's not a.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there's short names for areas, yeah.
The director just got back to me, so
Oh,
this
cool.
is cool. He said they just posted the manifest now.
Oh, great.
And then he also said that as far as Mandarin, he said the characters are the same, so it's not, it's only a spoken
Right.
thing.
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay.
I didn't know that. You should've
I
said
mean,
that.
it's,
Well, I wasn't sure exactly.
yeah, I
It's good to
didn't
hear.
think that they have two variants, but yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see if this builds. Alright.
Okay, so I'll check in, I guess, when I get back.
Yeah, and then are you gonna have time, do you think, like next week to kind of tweak things if you notice issues, or are you, okay, awesome.
So the only thing is, like, how do we want to run it? Like, I have code that will look for an update, but
Well, it's up to you. I think, do you want to be responsible for running it on election night?
or we can just do it manually.
Yeah, manually.
I can do it. I don't know. I'll be working on results for.
Actually, I think you're the only one that really knows how to run it, because I don't know how to.
Well,
I don't know how to get the new data and convert it.
yeah.
So it's gonna be up to you.
Yeah, I'll just run it manually and then post Git updates to the repo. But then I guess I have to update my local and post it as well. I have to update the demo.
Repo.
Yeah,
Well,
I have to.
that's easy. It's just like a 1 or 2 lines.
Well, I think I have a script to do it.
You just.
But I have to push from the sample directory, and then I have to run a bunch of commands in the demo area, right?
No, in the demo, it's just one command. You just need to commit the new submodule SHA.
But I have to like update my local copy and then.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know
Update
how
and
you
then
have it
push,
set up. I don't
right?
know how you have it set up. Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, but I put it in a
Okay.
shell script so I wouldn't
Well,
forget.
If you're having problems, just let me know.
Yeah.
It's easier to coordinate. It's harder to coordinate multiple people because
But then once we push to the demo, then the Travis will
yeah,
redo everything.
yeah, it runs it. It generates, and it takes like 5 minutes.
Okay. So shall I just send an email announcement when I have new stuff?
Sure.
Okay, I can make one-way announcements.
Yeah, and that's not discussion. It's just announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I think it would be nice to announce when it's posted, but if you need help, you can just let me know or something.
I mean, as opposed to posting issues or whatever.
Yeah, don't, like if it's not like, hey, can someone push this, it's better just to like ask someone directly. But if you want to like let people know, and then actually when it's published in election, I can send an email to the whole commission, one-way email, and then so people can like check out the great work.
Okay.
You know? So. And actually, at the next meeting, I thought we could write up a little statement on why to like nudge the department to adopting it too.
Yeah.
So we probably won't have time to do any translations before Tuesday, I assume.
No.
Unless you need some debugging.
Well, it's more like the manual ones I could do, but it's not really. I'm doing the ones at the top of the page, so it's easier to see.
Okay.
But But we could, just the bigger ones we could add. Like the title I want to change, like preliminary report. I think it's that one at the top.
Uh-huh.
Would be good.
Oh, so, I was gonna say,
So is that manifest file going to help you with something, or did you already do workarounds with it?
I did some workarounds.
What were you going to say?
I was gonna, well, I was just gonna say, if it has substitutions in it, but I guess that's encoded in the template. But like for things like, you know, I only have an English phrase. And so, I don't know if you want to make an API to translate it, you know, into the
No.
JSON.
Let's talk about that later. No. So the translation work that I did is not related to what's in the input JSON.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so like for like the URL mapping, I have a pattern, and so I give like, oh, same thing with like mapping different contest titles and things. I can match like numbers and things like that, and then substitute it. So, but I mean, we could have a similar thing like, you know, district number or something. So the translation, so we can take the English phrase and then find the mappings for it.
Well, give me an example, like concrete.
Well, like the title that I pull out of the, like the election name and report number are just pulled up, are just data pulled out. But there's like consistent patterns to the English.
Well, I guess I don't understand your question. Are you saying
That we need a way to map, not from, you know, a fixed ID into, you know, a set of translations, but a, you know, a match a pattern of English phrase.
Is this in the data converter or in the render report results?
Well, it could be either way, but let's say it's in the data converter.
Well, then yeah, I mean, I don't think we should at any point just use some like random API. I think we should always have the person be checking the result. You know?
Well, but I mean, I'm saying a person can put it, if it's like preliminary report 1.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They can write a translation for that. We can match it all the time.
But it's a case by case basis. Yeah.
So, but it's fit for things like that,
Yeah.
you know, or, you know, X of X precincts reporting or something, you could, you know, match a pattern.
Yeah.
Or otherwise it's just fixed text.
Yeah, and then you might have that pattern within the data converter can use that in some cases, or in other cases, we might want to have the format string be in the results reporter.
Right.
And use it there. So,
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But somehow we have to figure out how to, you know, represent that.
Well, yeah. Currently, we don't have any cases where the input JSON is exposing a format string, I don't think, right?
What's that?
I said currently we don't have any cases where the input JSON is providing a format string, right? It's always just...
No, it's just always, it's
Yeah, so
it's enumerated text.
I think we're probably going to want to like enhance the internationalization mapping thing, the type. Probably. Probably to have like the params, like. But let's talk about that later. We don't have to do it for next week.
Okay.
And I would say for now, just have the data converter should just expand out all those on its own. You know, don't have the data converter do all the substitutions. Right. So that the input JSON just has the rendered string, not the format strings.
Oh, no, it wouldn't have format strings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else before we adjourn? How about you, Ron? Are you gonna have any time? Are you gonna be busy next week?
I'm gonna be busy next week because I'm gonna be at a conference.
Do you think you can maybe check it out to see if you notice any issues?
Yeah, I will,
When the
on
email comes
election
through?
night or the next morning, I'll look at I'm gonna be following election night results anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll also look at our website.
Okay. Okay then. So, and also thank you for your great work. This is amazing. I think it's really just gets better every month. So this is really cool. Thank you for all your help. And
Extend my parking.
so the is now 4:46 p.m. The meeting is adjourned.